Hello guys, welcome back to LR Anime. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal Part 299 based on novel. So let's start. The origin crystals belong to me personally. I don't need to report this to your Mi Luo sect. An ancient voice came from the distance and then a ray of light landed next to Ouyang Long, revealing it to be Master Ashen Pine. The youth in yellow snorted and said, 35,000 origin crystals. 40,000. Master Ashen Pine was very calm, as if these 40,000 origin crystals were insignificant to him. This abnormal scene immediately caused the surrounding cultivators to look at Master Ashen Pine in shock. Master Ashen sect was a head elder of the Treasured Jade sect who didn't even need to give face to the sect master. He had many direct disciples and had enough power to confront the sect master. However, he was very low-key, so the sect master had never asked about all the celestial jades and origin crystals he had gathered. 50,000 origin crystals. The youth in yellow stared at Master Ashen Pine and clenched his teeth. Master Ashen Pine sneered. He didn't care about exposing the fact that he had a large amount of origin crystals and catching the attention of the upper regions. After today, he will leave and will likely never return to Penglai. Not to mention his chance of success will be much greater this time. Once he succeeds, his cultivation level will increase greatly, and after that, he will have nothing to fear. Master Ashen Pine had his hands behind his back as he calmly said, 60,000. You. The youth in yellow took a deep breath. After thinking for a moment, he was about to offer 70,000. Master Ashen Pine coldly looked at the youth in yellow and suddenly smiled. Your Mi Luo sect didn't bring many people and the trip back to the rank 7 region is far. You should be careful on your way back. The surroundings immediately became very quiet and their gazes fell on Master Ashen Pine. It was extremely rare for someone to threaten someone from the rank 7 sect. What backing does this Master Ashen Pine have to dare to be so bold? The youth in yellow looked at Master Ashen Pine. After a long time, he let out a cold snort and flew off into the horizon. Master Ashen Pine's expression was neutral as he clasped his hands at Wang Lin. He then threw out a bag and then reached out toward the suit of armor. The armor flew into his hand, and after taking a closer look, he revealed a smile. Fellow cultivator Lu, the deposit is in the bag as well. A total of 80,000 origin crystals. Let us go. Wang Lin caught the bag and scanned it with his divine sense before quietly putting it away. Master Ashen Pine had a high cultivation level and was very cunning. He was also a ruthless person. However, no matter how cunning he was, he couldn't match the All-Seer. Wang Lin had even dared to fight against the All-Seer, so how could he be afraid of a mere Master Ashen Pine? After nodding slightly, Wang Lin stepped forward and flew off into the sky. Master Ashen Pine smiled and flew off as well. He and Wang Lin disappeared into the horizon. Due to this, no one else was in the mood to continue this auction and all left. After leaving Penglai, Wang Lin and Master Ashen Pine moved at an extreme speed through the star fog. Just at this moment, the sound of a flute echoed in the fog. The star fog in the distance churned and the blue-haired Li Qianmai slowly walked out and smiled. Wang Lin stopped and pondered a bit. He turned toward Master Ashen Pine and slowly said, Fellow cultivator Ashen Pine, go first. I'll catch up a bit later. Master Ashen Pine smiled and handed a jade to Wang Lin. He then laughed and said, Fellow cultivator Lu can go to the location marked on the map. A few old friends of mine will be waiting there. With that, he looked at Li Qianmai and clasped his hands before flying off into the fog. He wasn't worried Wang Lin wouldn't come. Wang Lin looked at Li Qianmai, and after pondering for a bit, he calmly said, Didn't you leave? Why did you come back? Li Qianmai blinked and whispered, I was going to leave, but I remember you said you were going to send me off. Wang Lin frowned and said, I'll send you off here. With your cultivation level, there shouldn't be much danger for you there, but you should still be cautious. Li Qianmai shook her head and said, Who knows? Perhaps we will never meet again after I leave. From teacher's tone, this outbreak seems somewhat grave. Wang Lin silently pondered. Seeing that Wang Lin didn't intend to speak, Li Qianmai frowned. She looked at Wang Lin and let out a sigh. That Master Ashen Pine is very secretive. I originally intended to go with you. Li Qianmai gently bit her lower lip as she looked at Wang Lin and took off an emerald bracelet from her right hand. You answered my 3 questions before and we agreed for me to give you 1 item per question. I haven't given you the 3rd item yet. This is a protective treasure. You should keep it to protect yourself. Li Qianmai handed the bracelet to Wang Lin. Wang Lin looked at Li Qianmai with a somewhat complicated look. He took the bracelet and took one glance at. It was still warm from Li Qianmai's body. He shook his head and returned it to Li Qianmai. Li Qianmai looked at Wang Lin and quietly asked, "Why won't you take it?" "It is too expensive, I can't afford it. If there is nothing else, I'll be leaving." With that, Wang Lin turned and was about to leave. Li Qianmai calmly threw the jade bracelet to the side. It turned into a ray of light and disappeared among the star fog. "Since you don't want it, then I don't want it either." Wang Lin silently looked at Li Qianmai. "Since you don't want my item, take back this painting." Li Qianmai waved her hand. A painting appeared and she handed it to Wang Lin. Li Qianmai calmly said, "The lake and river on the painting are beautiful, but it was lacking vitality, so I added a few things." After taking the painting, Wang Lin didn't open it, but after silently pondering for a bit, his right hand reached out. A crack to this storage space opened and a ray of golden light flew out. The ray of light landed in Wang Lin's hand. The golden light dissipated and turned into a pen. Wang Lin waved his hand and began to draw a rune with the pen. His hand didn't stop as he drew stroke after stroke. It wasn't until the rune was extremely complex that he stopped. This pen is a celestial treasure, and when used with this rune, you should be able to display shocking strength with your cultivation level. Wang Lin let the pen go. A golden light surrounded the pen as it floated in the void. No longer looking at Li Qianmai, Wang Lin turned around and flew off into the distance. "You answered my 3 questions. I won't let you escape." Li Qianmai smiled as she looked at where Wang Lin disappeared to. She picked up her flute, put it next to her mouth, and began to play. The sound of the flute echoed through the fog. When Wang Lin heard the flute in the distance, he looked at the painting in his hand. He opened it up and saw that the river and lake were no longer there. They had dried up and there were 2 fishes laying next to each other, keeping each other alive. Wang Lin frowned and revealed a wry smile. He put away the painting and flew away accompanied by the sound of the flute. After a long time, Li Qianmai put down the flute and waved her hand. She put away the golden pen and walked off into the void. Wang Lin moved like lightning according to the map Master Ashen Pine had given him and dashed through the fog. However, a moment later, he stopped and stared straight ahead. In the fog not far from him there was a bright, emerald light, and there was a bracelet floating there. Not just Wang Lin, even Li Qianmai wouldn't have expected the bracelet that she had randomly thrown to end up along the route Wang Lin would take. Even if she had thrown it in the right direction, space was vast and filled with fog. Even though it had gone in the same direction, the chance of seeing it was like finding a needle in a haystack. Wang Lin silently looked at the jade bracelet for a long time before reaching out. The jade bracelet fell in his hand. He let out a sigh and flew away. There was a very small wild continent not far away from Penglai in the rank 5 region. There were no beasts there and cultivators rarely came here. However, right now there were 3 cultivators sitting there. "Master Ashen Pine, that place is the most secretive place between us. Why do you want that person named Lu to come?" The person who spoke was the old man with a face filled with scars. He was the same old man that Wang Lin had met at Master Ashen Pine's auction. Master Ashen Pine sat there with a calm expression and said, "That person can use the war spirit print. With him there, my chance of success will increase by 20%. In addition, I'll have to trouble fellow cultivator Zhao's spell to lead the way. After it's over, according to our previous agreement, fellow cultivator Zhao will get to choose 3 materials first." Master Ashen Pine's gaze fell on another person. This was also someone Wang Lin was familiar with. It was the old woman in green. The old woman said with a hoarse voice, "I'll do my best." Just at this moment, the fog above the wild continent churned and a shrill laugh echoed. The fog was pushed aside and an old man wearing a black and white daoist robe with a crown on his head appeared. With just a few steps, he arrived next to the three of them as if he had used spatial bending. Just as this old man appeared, a dense smell of blood appeared. There were countless soul fragments hiding in the fog behind him. They would sometimes reveal their heads and let out bursts of silent yet mournful cries. Master Ashenpine, I met some enemies along the way, so I was a bit late. The old man's face was pale, but his eyes gave off an eerie glow. Master Cloud Soul. The eyes of the old man with the face covered in scars narrowed the moment he saw the crown. The face of the old man with the crown twitched and he revealed a gloomy smile. Fellow cultivator Pang, we meet again. After that, he looked at the old woman, and in the end his gaze fell on Master Ashenpine. Master Ashenpine, is it only the four of us? Master Ashenpine licked his lips and slowly said, there are 3 more. They should be here soon. Just after he spoke, the star fog churned once more and a person walked out. White robe, fluttering black hair, and an indifferent gaze. Wang Lin walked out from the fog and looked at the 4 of them. A Nirvana Cleanser Jr.? Master Ashenpine, you want to a Nirvana Cleanser Jr. to be involved in this? Master Cloud Soul frowned. He is not a Nirvana Cleanser Jr. Master Ashenpine smiled. Oh! Master Cloud Soul's eyes lit up. When Wang Lin approached, he waved his right hand and the countless soul fragments charged at Wang Lin. Mid-stage Nirvana Shatterer. When Wang Lin got close, he looked at the old man with the crown and felt the monstrous killing intent from this old man. This person also used souls for his spells, and he was clearly a famous evil cultivator in the Cloud Sea. At this moment, as Master Cloud Soul waved his sleeves, an endless tide of soul fragments charged at Wang Lin to devour him. Wang Lin's eyes lit up. His right hand formed a fist and he threw a punch. A powerful force appeared and collided with those soul fragments. A thunderous rumble echoed and the surrounding star fog was all pushed back. A gust of wind blew by the soul fragments as they let out shrills, and a small portion of them immediately collapsed. Wang Lin's body flickered and he retreated 5 steps. Every step he took caused the earth to tremble and left deep footprints. After 5 steps, his face was a bit pale as he stared at Master Ashenpine and shouted, Master Ashenpine, what is the meaning of this? Master Ashenpine laughed as he stood up and waved his hand. There was a flash of gold light, and the gold light suddenly turned into thousands of flying sword. These flying sword linked together with a click to form a sword curtain and stopped Master Cloud Soul's soul fragments from attacking again. Master Cloud Soul, fellow cultivator Lu is an honored guest I invited. I hope you will give his old man some face. Master Cloud Soul, who wore a crown, coldly looked at Wang Lin and revealed a fake smile. You hide yourself, but you do have Nirvana Shatterer spells. As he spoke, his right hand reached out and the countless soul fragments gathered. They turned into 9 giant soul flames behind him. They gave off a crackling sounds as they burned. Fellow cultivator Lu, Master Cloud Soul is only testing your strength and has no malicious intent. Please don't mind. Master Ashenpine smiled and clasped his hands. Wang Lin's expression was gloomy and he didn't speak. He sat down not far from them and looked into the distance. He revealed no emotion on his face, making it impossible for outsiders to see what he was thinking. Master Ashenpine sneered in his heart. He and Master Cloud Soul looked at each other with subtle gazes and then quickly withdrew them. Master Cloud Soul sent a message into Master Ashenpine's ears. This person does have the ability to kill Wu Qing, but there is still a gap between him and mid-stage Nirvana Shatterer cultivators like us. If I attack on my own, I can kill him in 10 breaths of time. If we join together, we can kill him instantly. Master Ashenpine closed his eyes and sent out a message to Master Cloud Soul. What makes me dread him the most isn't his possible identity as a member of the God sect. It's that he is obviously a Nirvana Cleanser cultivator, but his spell could instantly kill Wu Qing. He is obviously hiding his cultivation. If I don't know his true cultivation level, it might hinder things. However, after seeing you two fight, I'm a bit relieved. However, this person is extremely cunning, so once we enter, try to test him a few more times. Master Cloud Soul's eyes lit up in agreement. Wang Lin lowered his head while he sat there so no one could see the flash of coldness in his eyes. Although he looked like he had used full force, he was actually holding back. It would not be wise to reveal his true strength before these old monsters. Mid-stage Nirvana Shatterer is indeed very strong. Just the origin energy contained in that spell is not something an early-stage Nirvana Shatterer cultivator can deal with. The difference is like a young and a strong man. However, if I were to fight with my most powerful treasures, it's not like I would lose. What I need to prevent is Master Ashen Pine and that person from teaming up. Wang Lin's expression was calm. He didn't reveal the slightest clue as to what he was thinking. The old man with the face full of scars saw the whole battle. He silently turned the ring on his finger and his gaze occasionally swept past Master Ashen Pine. There was still that old woman in green who just calmly sat there with her eye closed. She didn't look at what happened at all, as if she was asleep. Time gradually passed. Day and night mixed together on this fog-covered wild continent. It was impossible to distinguish between night and day. After about 1 hour, a ray of sword energy flew in from the distance. This sword energy seemed extremely sharp and contained fierce sword energy. This sword energy didn't make the star fog move at all and directly pierced through toward the 5 of them. Before the sword energy got close, a sword pressure descended from the sky. This sword pressure contained an extremely tyrannical aura. Master Ashen Pine raised his head and smiled. There was a clang and the sword energy arrived. It stabbed into the earth before the elder named Pang. It was a 7-foot-long sword and was 2 fingers wide. It was white and shrouded in steam, and traces of cold energy spread out from it. The golden tassel on the sword hilt fluttered and stirred the void, causing ripples to appear above the sword. The ripples became even more violent and a person walked out. This person was short. At first glance, it looked like a boy. Looking closely, this person had twisted features and was as green as a ghost. He looked terrifying, and if a mortal saw him, they would die from terror. He stepped out from the ripples and sat down next to the sword. He was only half a head taller than the sword that was stabbed into the ground. "What kind of map did you give me, Master Ashen Pine? It took me a long time to find this place." This person's voice was sharp. He gloomily looked at everyone and was startled when he saw Wang Lin, but he didn't say anything. Master Ashen Pine smiled even wider. "Little brother Duanmu, you can't blame me for this. It is you who was unable to find this place." The child snorted and sharply said, "You said that that place has reincarnation pills. Is it true?" Master Ashen Pine nodded and said, "It is 100% true. When I entered, I was only at the outer region and couldn't go deeper, but I saw a reincarnation pill. However, it was guarded by a fierce beast, so I couldn't obtain it." "What fierce beast?" "A rank 12 fog dragon." The child silently pondered, then his eyes lit up. Reincarnation pill. When Wang Lin heard this, his expression remained neutral, but his heart was moved. However, he had never heard of the reincarnation pill before. Looking at Master Ashen Pine's expression, this reincarnation pill didn't seem to be the focus of his trip. While he pondered, Wang Lin's gaze swept past the boy. This boy was also a mid-stage Nirvana Shatterer cultivator. The boy pondered for a moment and said to Master Ashen Pine, "If we are not leaving, does that mean there is still one more?" "There is still one missing." Before Master Ashen Pine finished speaking, he suddenly raised his head and looked into the distance. At almost the same time, the boy and Master Cloud Soul looked up as well. Wang Lin clearly felt the earth tremble slightly. He looked over and saw a tall figure closing in on the wild continent from the fog. The figure got closer and closer until a large, burly man wearing purple was revealed. As he approached, the earth trembled even more violently. Countless small pieces of rubble flew everywhere. The moment this burly man closed in, Wang Lin's eyes narrowed and closely looked behind the burly man. There were fierce beasts following behind him. Although there weren't too many, there were still hundreds. However, their ranks weren't that high. In the blink of an eye, the burly man arrived everyone. He coldly looked at everyone and calmly said, "I have arrived." No one saw him make a move, but the moment he spoke, those hundreds of beasts began to roar, and the sound was earth-shattering. Some of the fierce beasts suddenly collapsed into a pile of flesh and blood. Soon, all the fierce beasts behind him collapsed and died. When these fierce beasts died, the earth was dyed red and the smell of blood became dense. At the same time, the souls of the beasts all gathered before the burly man and rapidly condensed. They eventually turned into a black vortex, and then the burly man pinched it with his right hand. The vortex immediately condensed into a black pill. The burly man devoured the pill in his hand and calmly said, "I came here, so I refined all the fierce beasts here." Battle Beast Sect. Master Cloud Soul's expression became serious and he clasped his hands at the burly man. He said, "I wonder who fellow cultivator is in the Battle Beast Sect. I'm Master Cloud Soul. I'm friends with the Honorable Master Bowtine." The boy's expression also became serious, and he clasped his hands at the burly man. "Master Bowtine is my senior brother. I'm Chen Tine Jun." The burly man's voice was calm and there was a hint of pride in it. This person is at the early stage of Nirvana Shatterer. But to be able to get the attention of all these mid-stage Nirvana Shatterer old monsters means that aside from his sect, there is something else. More importantly, this Battle Beast Sect spell is interesting. Also, he said that he was already here, but no one noticed him. There is something strange. Wang Lin withdrew his gaze from the burly man. The Battle Beast Sect's hiding ability is indeed brilliant. I didn't realize Brother Chen was here at all. Master Ashen Pine got up and laughed. Chen Tainjun nodded slightly and said, "Master Ashen Pine, I was called by the rank 9 region and must hurry back to the sect. I don't have much time, so you must be quick." Master Ashen Pine nodded, then his gaze swept everyone once and he said, "I'm very grateful that all of you could come. All of us will obtain something in this trip. None of you will walk away empty-handed." He paused for a moment before looking at Wang Lin and saying, "Fellow cultivator Lu, aside from the origin crystals, you can also choose a few treasures as my sign of gratitude." Wang Lin silently nodded. "I won't say any more. Once we are there, I'll give a detailed introduction. This way." After he finished speaking, he took a step and charged into the star fog. The elder named Pang followed closely after and the old woman in green followed. The Battle Beast Sect's Cheng Tianjun stepped forward and 2 strands of black gas turned into 2 eagle-like beasts as he followed. "Fellow cultivator Lu, this way." Master Cloud Soul looked at Wang Lin with a smile that wasn't a smile. Wang Lin's expression was calm and he flew forward. Master Cloud Soul flew at the rear and coldly looked at Wang Lin. The 6 of them formed 6 rays of light across space with Master Ashen Pine leading the way. The starry sky was covered in fog as the 6 rays of light flew through the sky. Master Ashen Pine seemed to be very familiar with this path. He didn't even take out a jade to check for directions, he just quickly flew toward the location. With his Nirvana Shatterer cultivation, he was like a bolt of thunder when flying at full speed. Everyone behind him also used their full cultivation and flew faster. Wang Lin fell behind. After all, his real cultivation level was not Nirvana Shatterer. He remained calm as he took out the talisman and placed it on his body. A gust of wind appeared around him and he charged out. They flew at full speed, and a few days later, the fog became even more dense. They were within the deepest part of the rank 5 region, and they could vaguely see the shadow of a wild continent. "Here it is." Master Ashen Pine rushed out and got close to the wild continent. This wild continent wasn't big, but it had a lot of fierce beasts. Just standing above it, you could hear the constant roars of fierce beasts. Not many people know about this wild continent, and even those that know won't find the secret I hid here. Master Ashen Pine smiled as he looked at the continent with reminiscence in his eyes. "Fellow cultivator Pang, I will trouble you to find all the cultivators on this wild continent and kill them all." Master Ashen Pine looked at the old man with the face full of scars. The old man named Pang nodded and then disappeared. His divine sense spread out across the wild continent and he continued to search. He killed every cultivator he found, regardless of their cultivation level or sect. Wang Lin looked at the wild continent under his feet. He had a feeling that there was something wrong, but he couldn't tell what. At this moment, he squatted down and grabbed a handful of dirt to examine. The eyes of the old woman in green also lit up as she looked around and became serious. Master Cloud Soul looked at Wang Lin and sneered. The secret of this wild continent couldn't be seen through unless you had lived here for a long time. The boy also frowned as he looked around. No one knew what he was thinking. Only Chen Tianjun wasn't moved at all. He just sat there and cultivated with his eyes closed. It didn't take long for the old man named Pang to return. He nodded at Master Ashen Pine but didn't speak. Master Ashen Pine got a bit excited and let out a deep breath. Then his hands formed a seal and he waved his arms. Large amounts of origin energy suddenly gathered around him. It stirred up the fog and turned into a giant vortex before him. Master Ashen Pine's white hair flowed without any wind. He let out a roar and both of his hands mercilessly pressed down on the earth. The earth trembled with a bang and endless rumbles echoed. As the earth trembled, crackling sounds could be heard. Cracks moved like dragons as they extended into the distance. The earth shook even more violently. A towering mountain to the east released a harsh glow. Then mountains in the north, south, and west sides also released similar lights. The lights from the four mountains became even stronger and immediately spread out. If one looked from above, they would see that the light from the four mountains linked together to form a four-mountain formation. The earth within the formation trembled and shattered, and gravel floated into the air. In the blink of an eye, it was as if a layer of earth had been scraped off from the area within the four mountains as even more gravel floated into the air. Wang Lin's eyes narrowed as he looked at the gravel flying into the air. The earth was as smooth as a mirror, there were no bumps or concaves at all. There was a giant rune hidden underground. The rune was imprinted on the earth with a spell and occupied a majority of the continent. The gravel was added later on to hide the rune. Looking at this gravel flying into the air and disappearing, Wang Lin felt like a bolt of lightning hit him. He looked at where the gravel was flying off to and was shocked. He thought of the reason why he felt like this place was strange. This wild continent was completely motionless. The continents in the Cloud Sea were not stationary, but slowly drifting across space. This movement was very slow and difficult to detect, but it existed. Mortals would never feel it, but after one reaches a certain cultivation level, they would vaguely feel it if they calmed down. Wang Lin wasn't a native cultivator of the Cloud Sea. His former star system was full planets and not these floating continents. As a result, this feeling became very clear to him. If it was a native cultivator, they could easily miss this matter. A motionless wild continent, Wang Lin's eyes lit up. There was not a single piece of gravel left remaining on the earth between the four mountains. Master Ashen Pine sat down and his right hand reached at the void. A crack to his storage space opened and celestial jades flew out from inside. The moment they landed on the earth, all the celestial spiritual energy inside them was drained and they turned into dust. As the celestial jades continued to dissipate, the earth absorbed the dense celestial spiritual energy and the rune became even more clear. It gave off a gentle glow. After a short 15 minutes, more than 100,000 celestial jades were used. The rune became brighter and brighter until the entire wild continent was shining. Celestial formation, activate. Master Ashen Pine roared, his voice like a thunder rumble. At this moment, the rune on the ground shined violently and there was an earth-shattering tremble. Wang Lin clearly felt that after the rune had absorbed enough celestial spiritual energy, it spread across the entire continent. The wild continent suddenly began to move. It wasn't trembling, but moving. This continent was moving to the north. It was a detectable movement. One could only imagine how fast it was moving. Not only Wang Lin, but the boy, Chen Tianjun, and the old woman in green were all shocked by this. They spread out their divine senses and carefully observed. As the rune shined, the continent moved even faster. As the rumbling continued, it completely moved away from where it was before. A seven-colored crack appeared where the center of the wild continent was. The crack wasn't very large, only 5 feet wide. The seven-colored light made this very small crack extremely conspicuous in space. This is. The boy gasped as he stared at the seven-colored crack and became excited. His features were already twisted, and now that he was excited, he was even more terrifying. What a big move! The burly man, Chen Tianjun from the Battle Beast sect, looked at Master Ashen Pine before his gaze fell back on the seven-colored crack. This wild continent was originally not here. I accidentally passed through here just as the crack appeared. Afterward, in order to hide it, I moved a continent here to cover the crack up so outsiders wouldn't find it. Master Ashen Pine smiled as he spoke. There was pride in his voice. The old woman in green looked at the crack and said, "Where does this seven-colored crack lead to?" "You'll know once we get there." Master Ashen Pine laughed as he controlled the continent below them to move faster. In the blink of an eye, they were far from the crack. This crack isn't stable and can't be entered directly. If two of us enter it, it will collapse. Although it won't dissipate, it will shrink, making it difficult to return. Therefore, we must use this wild continent as a guide and smash our way in. That way, this crack won't collapse, and due to the seal on this continent, the impact will be a lot weaker when we return. As Master Ashen Pine explained this, the seven-colored crack gradually disappeared into the distance. The continent under everyone's feet moved even faster, but it suddenly stopped. Master Ashen Pine's hands formed a seal and pointed at the continent. The continent started moving even faster than before as it smashed toward the seven-colored crack. It moved faster and faster. In the blink of an eye, they reached the limit. The speed caused the continent to tremble violently, and large amounts of rocks fell off the edge. If you looked from above, you would clearly see that the speed of the continent wasn't any slower than a Nirvana Shatterer cultivator. In fact, it was even faster. Thunderous rumbles echoed across the stars as the continent moved even faster. The people on the continent became serious as they stared at the seven-colored crack that was getting close. They were all on guard. Although this sounds slow, it all happened in an instant. The continent immediately crashed down into the seven-colored crack. At this moment, the seven-colored light intensified and seemed to light up the area. When the continent crashed, the crack seemed to have gotten ripped open by force and instantly became larger. "Go!" shouted Master Ashen Pine as he charged out toward the crack. Everyone else also used their full speed and entered the crack. At this moment, the only two people outside were Master Cloud Soul and Wang Lin. Master Cloud Soul coldly looked at Wang Lin and Wang Lin let out a cold snort in his heart, but he headed straight for the crack. However, just as he was about to enter the crack, there was a flash of coldness in Wang Lin's eyes and he suddenly looked back. Master Cloud Soul's eyes narrowed. At the moment Wang Lin turned back, his right hand reached at the void and an iron sword suddenly appeared in his hand. It was covered in rust, but it was an iron sword that contained a heaven-shaking aura. Next part. Wang Lin had his own plot going into this seven-colored crack, and it was bound to have conflict with Master Ashen Pine. Wang Lin could deal with a mid-stage Nirvana Shatterer cultivator, and even against two he would be fine as long as the second one didn't have a good relationship with Master Ashen Pine. Wang Lin had secretly observed the boy named Duanmu. He was a ruthless person, and his relationship with Master Ashen Pine was merely for their own benefits. As for Chen Tianjun, he didn't have a very close relationship with Master Ashen Pine. He must have had his own plans. The only ones that had a close relationship with Master Ashen Pine were two people. The first was the old man named Pang, and the other was Master Cloud Soul. According to Wang Lin's analysis, it was due to Master Cloud Soul that Master Ashen Pine could calmly invite everyone. After all, with the two of them working together and the old man named Pang on their side, that team was already invincible among them. Therefore, destroying Master Cloud Soul would be equal to breaking one of Master Ashen Pine's arm. Master Cloud Soul had ill intent and had been observing him this whole time. Wang Lin decided to attack first and not give them a chance to join forces. Right now was the best chance to attack. Mid-stage Nirvana Shatterer. Thinking about how he was going to battle a mid-stage Nirvana Shatterer cultivator, Wang Lin felt excited. With the iron sword in his hand, he mercilessly slashed down. The power of a pseudo-Nirvana void treasure was heaven-shaking. At this moment, a monstrous ray of sword energy shot at Master Cloud Soul. Master Cloud Soul's expression changed. He was not far from Wang Lin and was very close to the seven-colored crack. He had no time to think as the sword energy closed in instantly. Master Cloud Soul let out a roar and his hands formed a seal. The soul flame behind him flew out to confront Wang Lin's sword energy. The soul flame shot at Wang Lin and collided with the sword energy. A thunderous rumble echoed and the soul flame collapsed. It wasn't able to stop the sword energy from piercing through at all. At this moment of crisis, Master Cloud Soul's eyes widened in anger. At the moment it closed in, he bit the tip of his tongue and spat out a gush of essence blood. This blood turned into a skull that devoured the ray of sword energy. There was a heaven-shaking bang as Master Cloud Soul's body trembled and his face turned pale. His eyes were filled with shock, but he was, after all, a mid-stage Nirvana Shatterer cultivator, so Wang Lin's sword energy wasn't able to seriously injure him. The impact knocked Wang Lin back a few steps and he was about to disappear into the crack. "You're looking for death, Junior." Master Cloud Soul let out a roar and rushed forward. He was very fast and closed in on Wang Lin in an instant. Wang Lin didn't have time to let the iron sword use its full attack. There was a cold flash in his eyes. This wasn't outside his expectations. A mid-stage Nirvana Shatterer cultivator wasn't easy to kill. His purpose was to injure him. It was all preparation for what will happen next. Wang Lin retreated and was about to completely enter the crack. Master Cloud Soul closed in and was half a foot into the crack. He lifted his hand and was about to use a spell, but at this moment, Wang Lin revealed a smile that wasn't a smile. He opened his mouth and shouted, "Stop!" The celestial origin energy inside his body surged like crazy and turned into the stop spell that surrounded Master Cloud Soul. In the blink of an eye, Master Cloud Soul's body paused. With his cultivation level, he only needed a moment to break the invisible silk threads formed by the stop spell, but it was enough. Just as Wang Lin entered the crack, a ray of sword energy shot out at Master Cloud Soul's head. A punch filled with ancient god power also shot out at him. The ray of sword energy closed in. Master Cloud Soul broke free from the stop spell in time to dodge, but he let out a miserable groan and blood gushed out from his right arm. The sword energy had chopped off his right arm. At this moment, the ancient god punch arrived. Although Master Cloud Soul blocked it with his spell, it caused his body to move to the side by large amount. Fear appeared in his eyes. You couldn't just arbitrarily move while being transferred through the crack. If you did, you would immediately be teleported to another location when crossing between the two realms. Wang Lin had passed through many spatial cracks. Although he hadn't entered the seven-colored crack before, he concluded that all cracks between two realms were like this. This seven-colored crack also wasn't stable, so he was even more certain. His purpose wasn't to attempt to kill a mid-stage Nirvana Shatterer cultivator. Instead, it was to injure Master Cloud Soul and change his transfer location the moment he entered the crack. All of this happened in a flash. It was unimaginably fast. At the moment he entered the crack, Wang Lin's vision blurred and his origin soul suffered the severe backlash from using the stop spell, but he suppressed it by force. When he regained his vision, he appeared in a strange world. There was a sky and earth here, but the sky gave off a seven-colored glow. Even the earth was seven-colored due to this light. However, this world wasn't clear but shrouded in fog. Only a few places didn't have fog. Wang Lin didn't look at the scene too closely. His eyes lit up and he looked around at the people who had teleported here. Master Cloud Soul was not here. Seeing this, Wang Lin relaxed a bit. He had made a gamble, and now he knew he had won his bet. What he did was extremely dangerous. Master Cloud Soul wasn't prepared, so his spell got interrupted by the stop spell. If that spell had shot out, things wouldn't have ended so quickly. Everyone was on an altar-like place that was only 1,000 feet wide. The old man named Pang looked around and recalled the past. This was his third time here. The first time they came, many of their friends died. The second time, more of them died. Today, including himself, there were only 3 of them left. The eyes of the boy named Duanmu looked at the fog ahead as he licked his lips and muttered, "That fog is not star fog." The Battle Beast sect's Chen Tianjun got very excited after arriving here. He took a few deep breaths and his eyes revealed a strange light. Only the old woman in green frowned slightly. No one knew what she was thinking about. Master Ashen Pine's expression was excited, but his gaze immediately became serious. He looked at Wang Lin and said, "Fellow cultivator Lu, Where is Master Cloud Soul? Wang Lin's expression was calm and frowned. How would I know where he went? Master Cloud Soul was behind you, and the two of you were the last ones to enter. Did an accident happen outside? Master Ashen Pine frowned. The good mood he had from returning here disappeared with Master Cloud Soul's disappearance, and he had a bad feeling. Wang Lin calmly said, I don't know if any accident happened outside, but when I entered the crack, there was no accident. The old man named Pang stared at Wang Lin and slowly said, Fellow cultivator Lu, I noticed before that fellow cultivator Cloud Soul was not far away from you. There is no reason for you have entered but him to go missing. Master Ashen Pine's expression was gloomy as he looked at Wang Lin. His heart was already extremely angry. The words between the three of them aroused the attention of the rest of the cultivators. The boy named Duanmu smiled and said, Interesting. We can even lose a person by entering a crack. The old woman in green looked at Wang Lin but didn't speak. Chen Tianjun frowned. He ignored all of this while he looked at the fog in the distance. There was a hint of feverish excitement in his eyes. Fellow cultivator Pang should be careful with his words. If you say things so thoughtlessly, you might invite dire misfortune. Wang Lin sneered and looked at the old man named Pang. The old man named Pang trembled. He thought about Wu Qing's death and regretted saying so much. He then looked at Master Ashen Pine. Fellow cultivator Lu, please give me an explanation. Master Ashen Pine stared at Wang Lin. He knew that Master Cloud Soul had been watching this youth in white. Now that he was missing, this person was the prime suspect. What a joke. Wang Lin laughed in anger. He looked indifferently at Master Ashen Pine and sneered. Master Cloud Soul is at the mid-stage of Nirvana Shatterer, and I'm not his match. Fellow cultivator Ashen Pine wants an explanation from me, but that is something I'm unable to give. Master Cloud Soul has legs and a brain, why would he report to me where he is going? Ridiculous. If you want a reason to battle, then I'll accompany you to the end. A cold light flashed through Wang Lin's eyes and his words were sharp. The boy named Duanmu looked at Wang Lin and said to Master Ashen Pine in a sharp voice, Interesting. However, Master Ashen Pine, fellow cultivator Lu's words are very reasonable. Master Cloud Soul has legs and a brain, maybe he didn't want to come in or he didn't want to be with us and went to another place. Master Ashen Pine frowned tightly. He had doubts in his heart as well. With Master Cloud Soul's cultivation level, unless this person named Lu was hiding a much higher cultivation level, there was no way Master Cloud Soul would be killed in such a short period of time. His gaze swept past Wang Lin. Master Ashen Pine denied the idea that Master Cloud Soul was killed, especially when he considered that Master Cloud Soul was like himself, who was very familiar with this place. They had both entered twice already. Could it be that Master Cloud Soul found another method of entry and used a special method to teleport away? Although this is possible, it could also be possible that this Lu cultivator fought Master Cloud Soul and caused him to be teleported to another place. But if this were true, how did this one named Lu safely teleport here? Master Ashen Pine had uncertainty in his heart, but he could only suppress it. He looked at Wang Lin and clasped his hands. It was me who was reckless on this matter. I hope fellow cultivator Lu won't mind. Wang Lin let out a cold snort. He then clasped his hands but didn't speak. At this moment, in a valley filled with dense fog inside this seven-colored world, Master Cloud Soul sat there with a pale face, nervously looking around. There were no more blood flowing out from his right arm, but there were fear hidden behind his expression. Damn it. I was transported here. His heart trembled as he licked his dry lips. He looked at the dense fog at the mouth of the valley. There were faint roars coming from the dense fog along with a fishy smell. The matter about Master Cloud Soul was put aside and was no longer mentioned. The old man named Pang complained in his heart and was on guard because he had just offended Wang Lin. Thinking about Wang Lin's cold gaze, he couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. Master Ashen Pine said with a serious tone, Don't spread out your divine sense too far, or else you will attract the fierce beasts here. Although this is only the outer region, there are rank 12 fog beasts here. Also, don't fly higher than 1,000 feet. Wang Lin looked at the seven-colored light in the sky and pondered. This seven-colored light was very strange and gave him a strange feeling. It seemed to contain an incomprehensible change in lore. What the hell is this place? The person that asked was the Battle Beast sect's Chen Tianjun. Master Ashen Pine looked ahead and slowly said, "The seven-colored realm. This is what I call it. The outer region of this place is filled with fog beasts. This is where all my origin crystals come from. I have come here a few times, but I'm unable to enter the center region. There are some remains of ancient people there. According to my observations, there are celestials and some very strange people." He pointed ahead as he slowly spoke. "Fellow cultivators, please follow me and don't leave. This place is very dangerous. If you're not careful, you might die here." With that, he walked down the altar and walked ahead. Everyone followed closely after Master Ashen Pine and slowly moved forward. Master Ashen Pine was serious the whole way and followed the fixed route off the altar into the plain. They eventually arrived within the fog-filled mountains. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he looked around. There were no trees here, only bare mountains. The different types of fog existed in their own separate groups and didn't interfere with each other. Just at this moment, Chen Tianjun suddenly stopped and looked at a mountain not far away. A stone cave could vaguely be seen halfway up the mountain. This cave was obviously not natural. At a glance, it was obvious it was made by someone to be used as a cultivation cave. There is indeed a cave there. But there are rank 12 beasts guarding it. The last time I came, I lured them away and went inside. I did obtain some stuff, Master Ashen Pine quietly said as he looked at Chen Tianjun. Then he continued to walk forward. Chen Tianjun withdrew his gaze and looked at Master Ashen Pine in front. No one knew what he was thinking. As everyone moved forward, the path got narrower. Master Ashen Pine was very familiar with this place. When there was no road ahead, he would change directions and another road would appear. Time slowly passed. As everyone went deeper, they felt a sense of majesty. This feeling became stronger, and when it descended on them, it even made their minds tremble. Master Ashen Pine's expression became more serious and he slowed down. He would have to think for a long time after every step as if he was recalling the route. Wang Lin was silent the whole way, but his eyes shined brightly. He had already noticed that there were numerous restrictions here. However, most of them were too old and had mostly collapsed, but there were still some that were operational. What shocked Wang Lin was the power of these restrictions. These restrictions were even stronger than the ones in Celestial Emperor Qing Lin's cave. If it wasn't for the fact that they had collapsed, it would have been impossible to reach this point. Looking back at where they passed through, they had already traveled more than 5 kilometers. They hadn't crossed the mountain range ahead of them yet, and it was impossible to know what was beyond the mountains. In this seven-colored realm, there was no night. The seven-colored light filled the sky. Master Ashen Pine moved slower and slower before he finally stopped. He rubbed his temples and said, "Fellow cultivator Duanmu, the reincarnation pill is not far ahead. However, there is a rank 12 fierce beast there, so if you want it, there might be some trouble." There was a narrow road before Master Ashen Pine, and the side of the mountains looked grim. Sometimes, a few stones would tumble down and make some noise. Aside from that, the surroundings were completely silent. There was a faint mist blocking the narrow road, and on the edge of the fog you could see a skeleton on the side. Almost all of its clothes had dissipated, only a few strands of cloth were still wrapped around the skeleton. The flesh on the skeleton had completely decayed and the pelvic bone could clearly be seen. There was a 7-colored pill inside it. This pill wasn't complete and had subtle cracks. Some of it had even melted, so it was no longer shaped like a pill, but a crescent shape. This was a pill that was devoured by someone, but that person died before they could completely absorb the pill. Although countless years had passed, the pill still emitted a faint fragrance, only now it was very light. Smelling the fragrance, Wang Lin's eyes narrowed. This fragrance was very strange. When it entered his nose, it made his origin soul tremble. His mind began recalling the past and scenes of the past uncontrollably appeared before his eyes. Fortunately, Wang Lin was also vigilant. He bit the tip of his tongue and his eyes suddenly cleared up. He was secretly startled. He looked at everyone else. That old man named Pang had already sealed his 5 senses. It was obvious he already knew that this place was strange. As for the old woman in green, she was confused for a moment but soon recovered. The battle beast sect's Chen Tianjun quickly recovered. What a powerful pill. It indeed is the reincarnation pill. The boy named Duanmu took a deep breath and was indulging in the fragrance. Fellow cultivator Duanmu cultivates the reincarnation cycle of the sun and moon. What he need to comprehend is his reincarnation. He must complete the reincarnation cycle 9 times to complete his Tao. However, the heavens are ruthless, so it is very difficult to succeed. Rumor has it that there was a reincarnation pill in the ancient cultivation world that allowed one to enter the reincarnation cycle to comprehend Tao. However, the reincarnation pill is long lost, and only part of the recipe exists. It is impossible to refine a reincarnation pill. We can only condense some reincarnation energy, Master Ashen Pine slowly explained. The boy named Duanmu's eyes lit up and he stared at Master Ashen Pine. He said with a sharp voice, "Fellow cultivator Ashen Pine sure knows a lot. I presume you made adequate preparations when you came to find me." Master Ashen Pine smiled but didn't speak. "If it wasn't for what's in the fog next to the skeleton, you wouldn't have been so as to kind to invite me." The boy named Duanmu looked at the fog. "That is indeed true. Fellow cultivator Duanmu's reincarnation Tao will be very useful to us for the rest of the trip. We will help you obtain this pill and you will open the road the rest of the way." Master Ashen Pine was calm as he frankly admitted it. "Okay." The boy pondered for a bit as he looked at the reincarnation pill in the skeleton, then his expression became serious. Master Ashen Pine said with a serious voice, "This is a rank 12 dragon, which is equal to a peak Nirvana Shatterer cultivator. But a fierce beast is still a fierce beast. As long as we cooperate well, and along with fellow cultivator Duanmu's reincarnation spell, it's not impossible." Chen Tianjun licked his lips. "I want this dragon's soul," the old woman in green said. "The body of this dragon belongs to me." Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he slowly said, "I want all the origin crystals in the fog." After the 3 of them finished speaking, their gazes fell on Master Ashen Pine. Master Ashen Pine laughed. "That's fine. Fellow cultivator Pang and I don't want these things. We just want to pass here." A cold light flashed in the eyes in the boy and he took a deep breath. His hands formed a seal before him and his hair moved without any wind. His eyes lit up and the sun and moon appeared in one each respectively. Then he let out a roar as his left hand pointed to between his eyebrows and his right hand pointed ahead. His eyes shined brightly and the sun and moon marks in his eyes became even more clear. Everyone around him suddenly felt like their minds were being sucked into an illusion. Wang Lin looked at the boy and was completely calm. The moment the sun and moon marks appeared, they began to rotate around each other to form a vortex. It charged directly at the fog. It was too fast and instantly closed on the fog. Popping sounds echoed as it charged into the fog. At this moment, the fog began to churn violently and a roar came out. This roar was earth-shattering, and the mountains on the sides began to tremble and rocks fell off. At the same time, a large dragon head charged out it. A fishy-smelling wind swept by as it charged toward everyone. If this was it, it would be fine, but the moment the dragon's head appeared, the pressure of a peak Nirvana Shatterer cultivator also appeared. This caused everyone's minds to tremble for an instant. The boy named Duanmu let out a roar and a sun and moon suddenly appeared before the head of the dragon that was charging at everyone. The sun and moon rotated like crazy, and the vortex they formed was pulling the dragon's head. My reincarnation spell can only affect it for 10 breaths of time. You all have to hurry. The boy's expression was ferocious and the veins on his forehead were swelling. He sat down, waved his right hand, and the 7-foot flying sword appeared. It turned into a ray of sword energy and shot directly at the dragon. Chen Tianjun took a step forward as his hands formed a seal and a ghostly light shined around him. He immediately arrived next to the dragon, and in a flash he arrived on top of the dragon's head. He sat down and formed another seal. The ghostly light around him intensified and he unexpectedly entered the dragon's body. Master Ashen Pine waved his hand and tens of thousands of swords appeared. They all fell like a rain of swords on the dragon. The old woman in green's right hand formed a seal and a cold wind blew by. There were crackling sounds as ice appeared in the narrow path and spread toward the dragon. The old man named Pang wasn't idle. He jumped into the air and waved his hand, causing lightning to appear. Balls of lightning descended from the sky. Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he immediately got near the dragon. His right hand formed a fist and his punch landed on the dragon's giant body. A thunderous rumble echoed. It was the dragon roaring in anger as it tried to break through the body's reincarnation seal. Just at this moment, the boy's flying sword arrived with a shaking sword energy. It broke through the dragon's flesh and pierced through. Immediately after, the old man's lightning descended, making the dragon roar even more intensely. The more it struggled, the more pale the face of the boy became, and his body began trembling. The boy shouted, "5 more breaths of time." Master Ashen Pine's hand quickly formed different seals as the tens of thousands of swords closed in and landed on the dragon. The dragon let out a roar and struggled, causing the boy to cough out blood. The veins on his body were all swelling and his eyes were bloodshot. The old woman in green's ice closed in and touched the dragon. The dragon trembled and frost immediately appeared. Soon, ice covered the entire dragon. Strands of black gas started to come out of the dragon and got absorbed by the ice. This scene caused everyone to look at the old woman. Wang Lin naturally saw what was strange about the ice. It was able to absorb the dragon's vitality. The dragon suddenly raised its head and let out a roar. The boy coughed out blood and could no longer seal it. Without the reincarnation seal, the dragon roared. There was a single horn on its head, and as it moved, its body came out of the fog. As it came out, the amount of fog decreased. After the seal disappeared, the dragon moved and all the ice around it immediately collapsed. When the ice flew back next to the old woman in green, strands of black gas entered her body, and her eyes became even brighter. These old monsters are still hiding their spells. It is interesting. Wang Lin sneered as he flew above the head of the dragon that was rising. He charged toward the thinning fog. Once the dragon turned solid from its fog form, all the origin crystals would dissipate and become part of its body's origin energy. I'll only do as much work as I'm paid to do. There is no need for me to try so desperately just for these origin crystals. Wang Lin ignored the fight and charged into the fog. The moment he entered, he saw large amounts of origin crystals floating there, and some were still forming. He waved his arms and took hundreds of origin crystals. This method of collecting origin crystals made Wang Lin very happy. He moved through the fog like lightning and gathered the origin crystals that had formed over countless years. Wang Lin could still hear the roar of the dragon and the rumbles of the battle outside. Wang Lin quickly gathered thousands of origin crystal. In truth, it was not possible for rank 12 fog beasts to generate this many origin crystals. After all, the cultivators that were raising these fog beasts would come to collect them every now and then. However, in this 7-colored realm, no one would come to steal the origin crystals from the fog beast. After countless years, this many origin crystals had gathered. It didn't take long for Wang Lin to notice the fog around him begin to churn more violently and show signs of condensing. It was also moving toward one direction as it contracted. After calculating the amount of origin crystals, Wang Lin decisively gave up gathering more and moved to the side. As he moved, the fog began to condense even faster. In a moment, all the fog disappeared and was replaced with the dragon's tail. The dragon was about 10,000 feet tall and half of its body was in the air. This section of tail flew up with the body. The old man named Pang had a pale face as he leaned against the side of the mountain, and his chest was a bloody mess. Master Ashen Pine, the old woman in green, and the boy were fighting above the dragon's head. They were all using spells to prevent the dragon from rising. The black horn on the dragon's head released a black light, and every time it flashed, Master Ashen Pine and company had to dodge. The dragon spat out a fishy-smelling poison fog that was very difficult to deal with. However, it was also seriously injured as blood flowed out from the wounds on its body and dripped down its scales. Just at this moment, the dragon let out a heaven-shaking roar that made the surrounding mountains tremble and some rocks to fall down. Shortly after, the black horn on the dragon gave off a blinding light and a black lightning net spread out. At the same time, endless origin energy gathered and even some of the seven-colored light was absorbed. Roar. The dragon let out a roar that caused everyone's minds to tremble. As the dragon roared, the black lightning net increased in size by 1,000 feet. As the origin energy and seven-colored light was absorbed, illusions began to appear around the dragon. These illusionary shadows were all dragons. As they circled the area, Master Ashen Pine and company were forced to retreat. The dragon was about to rise into the air. Once it flew up into the air, it would be a disaster for the cultivators that couldn't fly too high into the air. Just at this moment, Wang Lin's eyes lit up and he looked at the dragon's tail. He took a step forward and popping sounds came from his arms. The power of an ancient god surged through his arms as he jumped up and grabbed the dragon's tail. The veins on Wang Lin's arms swelled. "Come down for me." Wang Lin's hands mercilessly held the dragon's tail and mercilessly pulled it down. This scene shocked all those who were dodging the dragon's spells. The eyes of the old man named Pang leaning on the side of the road widened. His eyes were filled with disbelief. All of Wang Lin's ancient god power surged in his body as the dragon struggled. The dragon turned its head and charged at Wang Lin. Spells circled the dragon's body. However, its struggle just made Wang Lin's ancient god power surge even faster. "Come down." He let out a heaven-shaking roar that was like the voice of the god. Wang Lin's hand held the tail and mercilessly smashed the dragon's body down on the narrow path while all the other cultivators watched in shock. Although this dragon had a 10,000-foot-long body, had peak Nirvana Shatterer cultivator, had a body that was strong enough to resist most spells, and a body that was far stronger than that of any body refining cultivator, it was nothing before Wang Lin. Even if it shed its skin and became a true dragon, it still wouldn't be able to rise into the sky before an ancient god. As Wang Lin swung down, the dragon wasn't able to struggle at all, and it let out a roar. Its body immediately came crashing down. The old man named Pang felt the sky darken. His mind was shocked and he quickly retreated like crazy. He was worried that if he was too slow and the dragon smashed onto his body would immediately collapse, given his cultivation level. A thunderous rumble echoed across the sky when the giant dragon smashed into the ground. Large amounts of rocks fell off the mountains on both sides, and it took a while for everything to return to normal. After the dragon fell on the ground, its body twitched, its head began to melt, and black gas came out. Chen Tianjun flew out from the head and took a few steps back. Master Ashen Pine sucked in a breath of cold air. He stared at the dragon and then at Wang Lin, and a chill appeared in his heart. Even the boy licked his lips. There was a hint of dread in his gaze toward Wang Lin. The old woman in green also gasped and silently pondered. The one with the most fear in his heart was the old man named Pang, who had managed to avoid the dragon. When he thought about Wang Lin's threat, he felt bitterness in his mouth. Wang Lin's breathing was a bit rough and he looked at everyone before his gaze landed on the skeleton not far away. He walked over and looked down to find a jade under the skeleton. His right hand reached at the void and then the jade and pill landed in his hand. He threw the pill at the boy. The boy caught it and clasped his hands at Wang Lin. "Many thanks." Holding the jade, Wang Lin sat down against the mountain. His divine sense swept inside Jade and he began to carefully read the contents. Master Ashen Pine arrived next to the old man named Pang. His right hand patted the old man's back and he handed over some pills before sitting down. He would occasionally look at Wang Lin with a mysterious light in his eyes. The boy held the reincarnation pill and revealed a look of excitement before putting it away. This was not the time to consume it. He took a deep breath and sat down to heal. Chen Tianjun also sat down. During this battle, everyone was outside, but he was inside and was indispensable. If there was no one outside, he wouldn't have been able to obtain the dragon's soul. Although he wasn't able to absorb it all, he had the best harvest out of everyone present. As for the old woman in green, she arrived next to the dragon's corpse. She placed her hand on the dragon and black gas came out from the dragon's body and entered hers. After resting for a few hours, Master Ashen Pine looked at everyone and slowly said, "There are many rank 12 fog beasts here, however, the greater the danger, the bigger our harvest." At this moment, only bones remained of the dragon corpse next to the old woman. The old woman's face turned red and she unexpectedly became a bit younger. The old man named Pang had recovered a lot. He stood up and looked at the narrow path without any fog. His eyes lit up. Master Ashen Pine got up and walked forward. Everyone, let's go. The old woman in green and Chen Tianjun got up at the same time. Only the boy hesitated for a bit before also standing up. Wang Lin was sitting the farthest away from everyone and watched them walk over as he held the jade. There was something recorded in this jade. Something related to the seven-colored realm. This place is... Wang Lin's train of thought was broken as he suddenly looked behind everyone. His pupils shrank and all the hair on his body stood up. At the same time, Master Ashen Pine and the boy suddenly stopped. Immediately after, the old woman and Chen Tianjun also noticed. The old man named Pang was the last person to notice. Master Ashen Pine's eyes became filled with fear as he quickly sent out a divine sense message. No matter what, don't move. This video will end here.